Hi everyone, my name is Bambang Sumintono. I am a lecturer at Faculty of Education, Universitas Islam Internasional Indonesia. Right, so I've been here for more than 9 months. Okay, so I've graduated from Universitas Terbuka Jakarta, and then my master's in Flinders University, and my Ph.D. from Victoria University of New Zealand, graduated in 2006. All right, so my expertise is in educational administration. So one of the field is educational leadership. So I published some articles listed in Scopus journals and Web of Science journals. And also I'm editorial board for School Leadership and Management. It's a top educational management journal in the world. So 2 years ago, one professor from Texas University, Professor Halid Arar, invited me to join the research project, completing a book about Islamic educational leadership. Okay, particularly Prof. Arar asked me to contribute a chapter trying to portray about Islamic educational leadership in Southeast Asia context. For that project, so we gathered some experts from other university in Indonesia. So we team up with Dr. Hasan Hariri from Universitas Lampung, Bu Erika from UIN Jogja State University of Sunan Kalijaga, Yogyakarta, and Dr. Yudi from Universitas Sultan Ageng Tirtayasa, Banten. Okay, so actually the project is a concept paper project doing literature review analysis to the empirical study about Islamic education leadership in Southeast Asia context. So we gather so many articles from reputable journals that analyze about Islamic education leadership in Indonesia, Singapore, Thailand, and the Philippines. Okay, we don't have other sources from other ASEAN countries like Brunei or Laos or Myanmar. Okay, so this is an interesting project. We try to understand about Islamic education leadership context from Asian countries. As we know that originally Islam is born in Middle East, but spread out to all of the world, and then each region, each location, they have their own distinctive characteristic that include about educational leadership itself. Okay. What we found is that we wrote in that book chapter stating that each country have their own unique approach to the educational leadership concept itself. Okay, so for example, the article that we found published about leadership in Singapore, so they are emphasize more about, for example, quality, competitiveness, right? In Malaysia, they are aspire to want to show their identity as an Islamic country, modern Islamic country. So the journal article also reflect about that one. Okay, in Thailand and the Philippines, so because Muslim people in the South Thailand and South Philippines, they still have some conflict with their government. So the kind of educational leadership in that area is a bit different from what practiced in Thailand or Malaysia or in Indonesia. They tend to have cooperation, they tend to what we call is emphasize about peace, conflict resolution, that kind of thing. In Indonesia is a mix of that situation. So for example, one article emphasized about the local wisdom like keluargaan, and also there are some concerns about amanah, right? So this is the thing that what we learn, that each country have their own distinctive characteristic referred to Islamic educational leadership. Okay, if we study about educational leadership in the international context, so what we understand is that most likely it is come from the Western perspective. Okay, leadership is something that inherent, it is part of the culture that every society, every culture have their own perspective, which we cannot say it is something universal or applicable in many situations, in many locations, right? So prior to 2000, there is no such thing as Islamic educational leadership. Okay, we see the references about Islamic educational leaderships only after 2000s, and then Professor Arar said that it is a good effort for us to try to see the contemporary ideas, what Muslim researchers as well as non-Muslim researchers approach to the Islamic educational leadership itself. In educational administration field, study about leadership is something important because there is no such thing as good school without a good leadership. Okay, so when we try to understand if we want to have a good school, so we also have to find out what kind of the characteristic of leadership for our school when most of our people are Muslim, so their perspective about it is something also important for us to identify. Okay, so we are working in Universitas Islam Internasional Indonesia, where students come from many countries. So this is a huge potential for us to develop more in terms of Islamic education leadership. So we want try to portray and then to provide that this kind of scholarship is saying something that to understand better Muslim society, one of the crucial factor is about understanding the educational leadership itself. Okay, so the book project took around more than 1 month. Okay, and then we work collaboratively with another 3 lecturers from 3 Indonesian universities, and of course this what we call as a kind of reviewing process. There are twice reviewing process from the editor and also from the reviewers. And then finally we got the good news that our chapter is being accepted and going to into the production from the publisher Routledge. And finally in this January 2023, so we have a gift that the book officially published, and it will be already in the market on February. So it's like what we call is a small gift for us. And then the thing that we as lecturers at Universitas Islam Internasional Indonesia want to contribute something about educational leadership in the context of a global discussion referring to Islamic educational leadership itself.